The clap.
Yeah.
You want clapping.
Yeah.
Claps.
You don't want to get the clap.
Speaking of
Is that where it
claps,
comes-
welcome to the More Taco
Think so.
Encounter.
Why do they call it that?
It's a great question.
I don't
We
know.
always just wing stuff, and we're
Not to talk
basically-
about wings again.
Ooh.
Ooh, I do like wings.
There is-
See, it always
Writing-
goes back to that.
writing
Okay, so
on the
we're
wall.
winging it.
Our entire life is a segue into a segue, out of a segue into
Yeah.
another segue. We just are constantly talking, and the More Taco Encounter is just us putting a camera in front of us,
Yeah.
basically.
So you guys are along for our BS.
Yeah.
You're,
on a regular.
You're along for the
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah.
A wild, wavy ride.
Doesn't ever make any sense.
A while back, we had done a live stream of the NFL draft. And obviously, it was a big night for Joe and I, being Bears fans, growing up Bears fans. Nico had the experience the year prior with his Houston Texans twice in the top 3, which was very exciting for us to live through as well as a friend of his. And he felt the same this year for us.
True story.
But looking back on it, now that it's been some time, the dust has settled, teams are kind of filling into where they're at. What are your guys' perceptions? Nico, let's start off with the Houston Texans. How do you feel about their season? How do you feel about their prospects? Obviously, coming off a huge year, expectations are going to be sky high. What do you think that their season outlook looks like? Do you think there's going to be some coming down to earth for Stroud, coming down to earth for the Texans as a whole? Or do you think they can continue that trajectory? Because what did they end the season at? 10-6 last? 10-7?
7.
10-7 last year and won the division. What do you think the prospects look like for the Houston Texans heading into next year? And how do you think they did in the draft? Did they pull some pieces together? Because I got to be honest, I don't know out of the first 3 rounds like some of these guys.
So, as far as the draft, they filled holes. Like they filled holes how they should have. But they did a lot of that in free agency.
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, I think the free agency season before the draft is where they made all their big moves and put themselves ahead. If they don't win 10 games this year, it's going to be a letdown, especially in that division. That division's soft. There's no reason why you shouldn't come out with 4 wins.
I think they're getting better though. Oh, four wins, yeah. But I mean, Indianapolis will probably be better once they can get Richardson under the gun. And Jacksonville's not bad. Jacksonville's a choke job.
Yeah,
they're not bad. They choke.
And Tennessee's trash.
Tennessee is.
Oh
trash.
yeah, they're in a
I
rebuild.
agree that they should have 2 wins off the bat.
Yes,
and then they can split with each of those 2 teams, go 4-2. That's reasonable.
Yes,
but
which is why I think.
But I don't
they
think
should
it's
get
necessarily
4 wins.
a bad division.
No, I think that it's on the up and up, I guess, if you will. But I don't think that it's worthy of talking about the AFC North. I think the NFC North is even better as far as competition wise. Where I'm gonna jump. I'll go back into Houston, but everybody dogged Jordan Love when he was last year was considered one of the worst quarterbacks in that division, but yet he's that good. I mean, that was a solid division.
He's trash.
I knew it was gonna hurt. I knew it was gonna hurt your guys' feelings.
Jordan Love.
I knew it was gonna hurt your feelings when I said that, but
yeah,
he's good.
I'll give you this: the Minnesota Vikings, which are now, in my opinion, the worst team in the NFC North, are way better than the Tennessee Titans.
Yes,
I don't think is a question.
So the Texans are in the AFC South, right?
AFC
Correct.
South,
Correct.
And the NFC South also trash.
Yes. But
they get
now
like ripped on all the time.
Getting better, but I also think I would probably go so far as to say that I believe they're the worst division in football.
The NFC South.
Yes.
So they got Tampa,
Atlanta, which will be up and up, Saints, and Carolina.
I almost say that
they're just like a 500. Aside from Carolina, they're like a 500
they're a
division.
500 division at best.
I feel like the AFC East is going to be there.
AFC East with Miami,
Miami.
Jets.
Now that Miami is the best team.
Well,
over there.
dude, Aaron Rodgers is talking mad shit.
And
he needs to last more than 6 minutes. And I'm not talking.
You cannot.
I've heard
count,
things.
Yeah.
You cannot count out my guy Josh Allen. I'm going to tell you right now. Addition via subtraction with Stephon Diggs. Him being a freaking drama queen. No disrespect. You got him.
Well, I was just about to say that's kind of a good jump back to where we were at. A lot of people are dogging Stephon Diggs. I think he's good.
He's a great player.
Oh yeah,
great player.
And whether he's a diva or not, everybody's like, "Oh, is he going to be good in the locker room?" When he's going to be your number 1 or number 2.
You don't need him to be.
No,
you got 3 stud receivers, man.
And he's friends with them already, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He wanted to go there, and his brother's in Dallas. He's going to be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
And he was fine, to be clear. Sorry to interrupt. He was fine his first 3 years in Buffalo, too.
Oh, yeah.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a problem these first couple of
No,
years.
no.
He was fine when he came out to Minnesota.
Yeah.
He had that touchdown from Case Keenum to win the
Yeah.
playoff game, the miracle and whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be fine at the beginning. It'll be 3-4 years from now.
I think he just needs
And
to
by
know
then you
what
don't
his
really
role
maybe
is.
want-
Maybe it don't
play
matter.
any- yeah.
Maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
But what's
Yeah.
his role? Like I think
By then he should be your third receiver. By
Yeah.
then he should be your third
And that's
receiver.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you have Tank
well,
Dell,
he's still pretty young though, isn't he?
Stephon Diggs is in
Early
near
30s.
28?
No, I don't think he's that young.
early 30s.
Really?
I think early 30s.
I think 30 to 32
Yeah.
roughly.
in there.
Yeah.
I think he had this expectation being in Buffalo to be the guy always, and he had that mentality. So when he wasn't getting the looks or the touchdowns, he took it personal.
How about dropping wide open touchdowns
Yeah.
in playoff games?
That doesn't.
Just
that
a
doesn't.
question.
Yeah, that doesn't help either. But back to your Josh Allen. Here's the sad news about Josh Allen. Josh Allen will not win a Super Bowl.
I don't think he will. I agree with you.
I think their window
But
was
he's
last
a
year.
stud. He's a monster.
He is so good.
I think he's good enough. I agree with you that he's probably not going to win a Super Bowl, but I think he's good enough to bring them to the playoffs consistently with nobody. Like he's one
Buffalo-
of those kind of guys.
Here's a early prediction. Buffalo will not make the playoffs this year.
And they'd be a Hard Knocks next year.
They did nothing in the offseason. This is the third year in a row that they have done nothing.
And that was my whole.
We're going to make a bet.
I like it.
We'll make a bet.
Okay.
That was my
Something
basis of
simple.
Yeah.
that was my basis of them not being that good. I understand they got rid of somebody and the addition from by subtraction. I get that, but they did nothing.
Nothing.
They let
They need stuff.
Yes.
Kansas City trade up in the draft
Yep.
to take a receiver,
Yep.
only for them to take a receiver 10 picks later or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just odd.
Yep. So I don't know if it was a cap space thing. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're going to dive
Here's
all in next year to get 85 linemen at $100 million each.
prediction is they don't make the playoffs. They finally fire that head coach because I thought he should have been fired this year. Probably a nice guy, super nice fella. He's bald, probably great.
That's the qualification.
Yeah, you
got to
be bald,
nice
but
guy.
he's not gonna be the guy. That's why I think that they're gonna be. That's what's gonna happen to them this year. No playoffs. They're gonna get bounced. The Jets are gonna do well. Mosquito, and then
Miami.
Miami's gonna do well. Jets are gonna do well. What's
I
that
think
team?
Jets will be on the cusp of the playoffs. I
New
think
England's gonna
Miami-
be New England's trash.
Trash.
And that's
So,
what I'm
like-
saying. I would say
But
the
you think
AFC
they're
East is pretty bad.
But you think they're okay. So hear me out. So we're just comparing divisions now. We got NFC South. Let's just take a look at these two. NFC South. Atlanta on the rise with Kirk Cousins, who obviously they don't trust enough to draft another quarterback.
Yeah, but Tampa's winning that division.
But they got weapons. You think Tampa's winning that division this year? Tampa pulled a miracle out of their butt last year.
They almost beat Detroit.
Are you
Let's
not a
double-
Baker believer?
I'm not a Baker believer. I think here's what I would say. No, because I'm not a hater.
You're just not a believer.
I
They
believe
paid that boy.
I
did.
believe that Baker Mayfield is a 12 to 20 quarterback in the league.
That's
what
where you put him with Kirk.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Kirk
not,
is maybe 15 to 18.
I put Kirk ahead of.
Kirk is ahead. Kirk is
Yeah, I
ahead
put
of
Kirk
Baker
ahead
Mayfield.
of
But
Baker. But I mean,
Baker's not bad.
Not
He's
far.
just not great.
Yeah,
You're
it would
not
be
winning-
like Kirk Baker.
You're going to lose more games because of
Baker
Baker
Cousins.
Mayfield than you're going to win games because of Baker Mayfield.
Baker
Yeah,
Cousins.
Anyway, so you got. I think we can pair those bets together because I think Tampa sucks. I think
Dude, they
got
almost
lucky.
beat Detroit in the playoffs.
They got lucky. They got lucky to make the playoffs last year.
But they almost beat a team that almost beat the Niners.
That also sounds
Just saying.
horrible. Who almost beat the Chiefs? Listen,
We're about to
with
get these bets
with
on
that
record.
math, Tampa almost won the Super Bowl.
Bears won the Super Bowl because they're the best. They beat Detroit last year almost twice. Almost again.
Almost again.
Yeah, but I think
so-
Tampa wins that division for sure.
Okay,
So let's just go. Yeah, let's
So
go back to the
Atlanta-
four teams.
Atlanta. Let's just
Let's-
pair them off.
yeah.
Which I think Atlanta's the best, and I think Miami's the best. In that matchup, it's pretty close. You're both relying on gunslingers. Both teams have no defense. Both teams are stacked with weapons. Wash. I'm just saying my opinion. You
Yeah.
guys share yours. I wash that. Second best team. Cool. Let's roll with Jets and Tampa. Jets have more weapons. They got Breece Hall is a stud. If they were not injured, I take the Jets over Tampa every day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Especially because Tampa lost a bunch of defensive pieces. Tampa's defense was awesome last year.
If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy this year, the Jets win that division.
Okay. Now you're down. Now you're down to third tier. I will take Josh Allen and that ashtray and my Seagram's cap and a leopard print blanket over the New Orleans Saints every day of the week. Every day of the week. And now you got Carolina and New England, who both are trash. Right there, the AFC East is better than the NFC South. That's my opinion.
No, I think every single level I think they all evened out. I think every team that you compared is the exact same.
You think the Jets and Tampa are the same?
If you get, yes.
You think the Buffalo Bills are the same as New Orleans
So
Saints?
the reason why I'm saying that is because, okay, we're talking about if Rodgers is healthy, right?
You can't count on that.
You can't count on that. So you also can't count on Kirk Cousins to
be healthy,
same exact injury.
Yeah.
They're almost the same age. So at this point, we got to if we're going to do away with one injury, you got to do away with the other. It's the same exact injury.
It's a great point.
But then that puts Miami ahead of Atlanta.
But then you wash those two teams.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say the Jets are more comparable to Atlanta.
That's where I was going with
this. So you're going to wash Atlanta? Okay, so
Atlanta and the Jets are washing each other out. Those two are going to wash each other out.
Miami's way better than Tampa.
See, again,
Tampa's got a really good defense.
If you have
except that they lost half those guys.
What Miami are you getting? Are you getting the Miami because you just argued that somebody barely made the playoffs, and there was an argument that said that Tampa could have won the Super Bowl.
Miami caved last year.
But Miami, and then Miami goes into some cold weather, and all of a sudden they don't know how to play football anymore. So again, so now you have Miami and Tampa, same team, wash. So, and then now you go Buffalo, New Orleans. I'm taking New Orleans over because Buffalo did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I think Buffalo's not.
I would take New Orleans over them
this year,
dude.
Maybe.
I think it comes down to right now. I feel a lot of bets coming on.
Yeah.
I will take. Here's what we can do. We can take cumulative record of division, and you wash the division games.
I would say they probably all split with their division except for like the worst teams.
But that's why when you do those, they have bets where you just wash the division.
I think that's super fair. Actually,
so you take that out, and it's all non-division games. Miami will play a first place schedule. Tampa will play a first place schedule.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
So what divisions are they playing? That's like also.
I don't know.
So Miami and Tampa will each play the winners of the other division. So Tampa will play San Francisco. I don't know whether it's home or away, but Miami will play the Chiefs. I don't know whether it's home or away. You know,
it's Miami. If you don't start saying
when
Miami,
you win the division, you play the other division winners that next year, and then the key will be like who plays another crappy division, because like they rotate through the other divisions. So I'll take that bet though. I'll take AFC East cumulative record over NFC South cumulative record.
I'm gonna finish with the last two group three. So you have New Orleans, Buffalo. I already said Buffalo's trash. New Orleans is still built similarly, and they're not great. I'm not saying that they're a great team, but I think Buffalo is in a worse situation.
It's also super hard to go to the Dome and win.
Correct. So, and then the shitters, the team number 4 in each division, I'm taking Carolina over New England.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Because they are in a better situation right now.
They're growing.
They are in a better situation currently right now after they just got rid of Mac Jones. After New England, they completely blew everything up, and Carolina's on the up and up. So, therefore, the bottom 2 teams in those divisions is why I give the division lead to the South over the East.
I mean, neither team's going to win more than 4 games this year.
Both divisions are trash.
Right. Yeah, they are.
I just think one is less trash than the other.
Oof. Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. It's going to be good. I think football this year is going to be awesome.
Either way.
There's so much shit going on. Houston, Bears, Texans, Super Bowl.
Could you see the Bears and Texans playing 3 times in a season? Preseason, regular season, Super Bowl.
We play in the regular season this year?
Yeah. Week 2.
And it's in Houston this time because it was in Chicago last time.
It's in Houston.
Yeah, it's in Houston.
Could you imagine?
So
I don't know if I could.
I think
I couldn't sleep.
I'm going to give you this. So I think obviously everyone that's listening to this
I don't sleep now anyway. You're right.
That's into sports understands that this is a big year, right? For both teams, respective teams that we like.
In what respect?
Well, here's the thing.
It's a big year for them. I don't think it's a big year for us.
I think it's a monster year.
I think it's a monster year for you guys.
Bold prediction. This is my bold prediction of the year. Is that Caleb Williams could be the first rookie quarterback to win
to throw a touchdown.
To win a Super Bowl?
He could. Expectations of him are that high on a team that is built to win.
He is. I will say that Caleb Williams is the first number 1 overall to have a team built like that around him.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, they're always going to a shitty situation.
Always.
They have an amazing situation for him right now with the moves they made.
Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, and Joe Burrow all went deep into the playoffs year 2.
Yeah.
Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl and lost year 2.
Yeah.
But nobody has ever gone year 1.
It's going to be Caleb Williams.
So,
And Ben Roethlisberger won a Super Bowl year 2.
Yeah.
He sucked, though. He was not the reason they won that Super Bowl, but he won the Super Bowl year 2.
With you saying that right now, they're 1 injury away from winning the division. And the reason why I say that is if Jared Goff goes down, that division's wide open.
It's true. I think Jordan Love regresses a bit.
I think his weapons aren't as great.
Yeah. They're a super young team.
He's got
very
really
injury
good weapons, and now they got Josh Jacobs.
Well,
but they're injury prone as shit.
What if he's fired up to crush people?
Well, I'm saying his
overrated.
weapons aren't as great as the Bears.
I agree.
Josh Jacobs is overrated.
I think the Bears have better weapons than he does. So that's why I'm saying that if Caleb Williams can just manage and steer the ship in the right direction, and you get a Jared Goff injury, they can win that division.
I'm going to say something that's not coming out of left field. You guys have heard me say this. Keenan Allen is overrated. Big time.
I've never liked him.
The dude is a vaguely
I've never liked him.
solid reception king. That's all he is.
I'm going to disagree. Look at his stats.
I've looked at his stats. I'll take DJ Moore over him and Odunze over Keenan Allen every day of the week now. I'll take Odunze as their second best receiver now.
Well, you can't say that about Odunze because you haven't seen him yet in the NFL.
I can say it about him because Keenan Allen sucks.
I disagree. Okay. I disagree wholeheartedly.
But here's the thing.
Watch Keenan Allen do nothing and get injured this year.
No way.
That's what Keenan Allen does is get injured. Last year was his first healthy year in a long time.
He's not as injured as you think.
I'm pretty sure he's made up of titanium.
I'm telling you.
Injured listening to our podcast.
I'm telling you. Keenan Allen
just fell out of bed.
He's played like more than 13 games every year.
They play 17, dude.
Now, that's a bye week.
He's a solid 75% of the time.
Yeah. I'm telling you, he doesn't miss as many games as you think. I thought the same thing when they got him, and I looked it up.
There's a bunch of games I feel like he played 8 or 10 games. A bunch of years he played 8 or 10 games.
It's not true.
But here's the thing. I think we're all getting away from the idea here. They have so many weapons. They don't need him to be an all-pro.
No, they don't. That's the best part.
They don't need him to go for 1,000 yards.
So you got Keenan Allen.
I think they do because then that allows DJ Moore to go off.
No.
Well, you also have 2 tight ends that are all-pro.
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, and
Gerald Everett. Not to mention your running backs.
And you got DeAndre Swift. Yeah. That team is fucking stacked.
And watch Roshan Johnson go off.
Can we block?
So they got a new center, right? They got a guy from Buffalo that was
you're saying somebody else left Buffalo?
Well,
these guys better be.
They were good. The Bears originally wanted to draft him, and they missed out on him. And now they got him a couple years later.
They also wanted to draft Mahomes too, right?
That was pre-polls. Pre-polls.
My bad.
By the way, speaking of that, I don't know if you guys saw the video, but polls, they were in the draft room, and they were going through polls and where he, the lead up to Rome. And he's, predicting where Joe Alt was going to go, whatever. And he's sitting there watching Atlanta with that pick, and they announced Penix. He, turns, he looks at Eberflus, he's like, Penix. And then everyone gets up, everyone stands up, and they're, looking back, and he looks at someone, probably, their PR guy, and he's like, you put Rome Odunze in, right? He's like, good. And he looks at him, they draft him, he's like, we didn't have to give anything up for him. He was planned to give shit up to get that guy, and they got him for exactly the pick that they had.
Good for them.
Dude, Poles is the fucking man. Mm-hmm. King Poles is leading the Bears to the first rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
He's not beating Houston.
Joe, you are
He's not beating Houston.
Machine.
That's my bold prediction. My realistic prediction is the Bears make the playoffs. I think they're a 10-win team. They'll get bounced in the playoff by someone.
Yeah.
I don't know who, but they'll get bounced.
I think they steal a win.
I wouldn't be shocked if they
won a game.
They steal a win.
But
think about it. The Bears beat Detroit once last year. Detroit beat them twice.
Sometimes it's about matchups. I agree with you.
They're a matchup nightmare for Jared Goff.
They are, and I think
And the defense is better this year, probably.
I think
They're scary.
here's what I think, and I don't think that this is. I don't consider this a bold prediction. This is actually what I think is going to happen.
If you say Kansas City, you can leave now.
no, I don't even know about.
We're not
that.
talking
I'm
about,
just talking
no
about
more
this.
Kansas City talk. ever
I
again.
think
Trash.
I think regular season. I see this all the time with teams that I like regular season. Some of the teams they almost kind of gear down. I expect a gear down from Detroit this year. I expect them to take a slight step back, not out of the playoffs,
Tougher schedule.
but a tougher schedule, less regular season meaningless wins. Because in my head last year, Detroit was actually a 13 or 14 win team. They got robbed against Dallas. There were some
Oh,
weird
yeah, I
things.
forgot
There were
about
some
that.
weird things that went against them. So I look at what they should have done, and this year I kind of see them in the 11 range. I genuinely believe we're gonna have 3 teams competing for the playoffs
Mhm.
in our division. I think Washington takes a step up. The Giants aren't as bad as people think. And I think that NFC East beats each other up a lot this year. I think the LA Rams, who kind of came on strong at the end of the year, I think they show who I think they are, which is they're done. That's a wrap on the LA Rams. They sold out to get Stafford. They won their Super Bowl. They had a crappy year when Cooper Kupp went down 2 years ago. Last year, they overachieved. I think they're toast. I think Seattle takes a major step back from that kind of playoff cusp mediocrity,
Yeah.
just over 500 team.
Like a pain in the ass team you don't want to play.
To a 5 or 6 win team. I think Arizona, because of those two kind of step backs, takes a slight step up into that 6 or 7 win range.
They could take a bigger step up too.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be good for them. I think they could hover around 500.
Yeah, they got Kyler
But I
all
think-
year.
I think San Francisco trucks that division, just trucks them.
Yeah,
And because of that, I think that's a one team
playoff.
one playoff team
Agreed.
division.
Yeah.
With what I said about the NFC East, I can see 2 teams coming out. It could be Dallas and Philly like normal, but I think Washington and Giants are going to be better and beat each other up. You guys have already heard what I think about the NFC South. I think they freaking suck. I think one team comes out of that division. You got 1, you got 2. That leaves 3 left. I can see all 3 Bears, Detroit, and Packers all making the playoffs. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm saying it could happen.
You could even
and they're going to be competing for that.
I think that's the one division where they're most likely to happen.
Yeah. You could even argue that only one team makes it out of the East as well.
You could.
And then you
And maybe 2 and
Maybe the
maybe
Rams
then
are-
Tampa proves me wrong.
maybe
2
Tampa
out
or
of the
maybe the
South,
Rams are a little bit like
or
a
Seattle
team.
or Arizona, like you guys
Yeah.
said, surprises, and it's Arizona
Yeah.
and because they have a last place schedule.
Right. I feel-
Arizona plays a crap schedule. So
Yeah.
maybe Arizona sneaks up San Francisco. There's always a last place team that jumps in the playoffs due to the schedule and because they had some injuries that went against them.
the AFC we're AFC North.
Nasty.
That's going to be a crazy division,
Nasty
but they're
division.
all going to choke.
All of them.
Baltimore is the biggest choke artist
I
team.
agree with you 100%.
Lamar Jackson
100%.
is the most overrated MVP, I think,
For
ever.
sure.
I don't even think he's
For sure.
good.
Did
He
you see
was
his
not the
numbers
MVP.
compared to Fields?
Christian McCaffrey.
He's not good, dude.
Christian McCaffrey
He's got a
was
good
the
team.
MVP last year, and it's not even close.
I agree.
And time will prove that. Time will prove that correct. I agree with you. You didn't get there. Cleveland, I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's a wrap on you.
Yeah.
I
You're
love
like,
that.
you're sitting there
I
like,
love every bit of that.
Yeah.
Like, you suckers.
That
I
was a wrap.
loved it.
And you want to know why all that worked out? There was a guy who wasn't playing. That's why that worked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think Deshaun Watson is ripped. He's done.
He's done.
Now, that being said, I think Pittsburgh will have some internal conflict with the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson thing, but they're always solid. Are they solid enough
what they
to make
win?
the
How many
playoffs?
games they win
Maybe.
last year?
9.
And
just-
they had no
freaking
quarterback.
Suck. They're always solid. Always.
It's so annoying.
I think-
I like the Steelers.
I think Joe Burrow is he competes. I like Joe Burrow.
I love that guy. I like the Bengals. As a team, I like them.
He's sitting on his couch, and he's hearing people talk, and he's watching these other quarterbacks, and he's just steaming. And I love guys like that. He's just steaming, and I can see Cincy going deep in the playoffs. I don't know that they're going to go to the Super Bowl or even the AFC Championship, but I can see him looking at Lamar and Baltimore and all this crap and be like, dude, that's just because I was not there and and we played like crap last year.
So let's go with
I need a whiteboard.
let's go with NFC AFC Championship.
Well, dude, we can roll off playoff teams pretty quick. I think I just rattled off NFC.
Yeah.
We can break down the conference and Super Bowl.
We'll do conference. So we'll start with NFC. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Go ahead.
You go.
Well, I already had it. So I'll stick with what I said. I'm going to go. Actually, I'm going to you guys convinced me of something. This is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go 49ers and Arizona Cardinals coming out of the West.
Okay.
I'm going to go Atlanta out of the South. I know you guys don't agree with me, but I'm riding Kirk till the day I die.
It'll be them or Tampa.
But it's
only one.
I'm rolling Atlanta. I'm rolling Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in a contract year, because if this is not it, Jerry Jones,
He's gone.
Yeah.
Everything in Dallas needs to implode, and it may implode during the season.
They're talking about Trevor Lawrence to replace him.
And if it implodes during the season, it's Philly. I don't think Washington, but I think Philly takes a big choke.
Yeah.
They choked last year. I think they might choke even worse.
Yeah, and then Sirianni's gone.
And he's a wrap. So I think so. Right now, I'm going with Atlanta. I'm going with Dallas. I'm going with Niners and Arizona, and then I'm rolling with the 3 in our division: Detroit, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. I'm going in the NFC Championship game. It pisses me off to say it, but I have to go with my brain over my heart. My heart would love to see Detroit, Chicago for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But my brain can't do it. My brain says 49ers and Packers to go to the Super Bowl. And I wish I hated. I wish I thought Jordan Love truly sucked. I don't. I think the Packers have this magic dust. Some organizations just have it. And I wish my organizations had it. The Bulls had it. The Hawks had it. The Packers have it.
We're trying to get it. We're on the way to get it.
We're getting it. So I'm going to go with 49ers back to the Super Bowl. That's my NFC pick.
I'm not going to do a whole breakdown. I'm just going to go conference championships. You already said mine.
Yeah.
I really do think it's going to be Green Bay, San Francisco. I hate saying this, but I think it's going to be Baltimore and Kansas City on the other side.
Yuck.
And quite honestly,
Did I tell you
That Final Four is gross.
Didn't I just say no more Kansas City talk?
I know, but nobody has shown that they could beat them in the AFC.
haven't.
I know.
They haven't.
And I feel like Houston cannot beat either one of those teams in the playoffs. And
I think
until
Houston could beat Baltimore. They just need to prove it.
but they haven't done it in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So and I can't put all my eggs in that basket until they do it.
Okay.
Would I like to see Houston there? Yeah. But it's probably not going to happen. For some reason, I feel like it's going to be a Baltimore Green Bay.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of those colors, the color scheme thing. Remember the color scheme
That would be-
conspiracy?
that's
Who's
mine.
winning the Super Bowl?
Green Bay.
Green
I'm
Bay.
gonna be honest with you. Like, if that's a Super Bowl,
I will die.
if there's a Green Bay Baltimore Super Bowl,
Oh,
I will
no.
not watch it.
Oh,
And it has
no.
nothing to do with me my
no.
dislike and hatred for that team. I don't like either team at all.
Yeah.
So
Neither do I, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's
I'm gonna
until
go.
my team can
Yeah,
prove
what
that
do you
they can
got?
get there.
I know. I still think Jordan Love regresses. I think that team suffers from injuries. I mean, they have young receivers, young players, and
One of them goes down, that whole
they
weaponry
didn't even
falls apart.
they didn't even play a whole year last year, and they're young. Like those injuries linger. It's like Alshon Jeffrey, right? Like when he got hurt as a Bear, they're all soft tissue, like bullshit hamstring injuries.
Like Carlos Boozer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like those guys are all once that starts,
Fragile.
it stays. You know, that's like my big worry like Tevin Jenkins for the Bears, right? Like he's kind of injury prone guy. When he plays, he's a monster, but it offsets. He played a good amount last year. So I do think the Packers regress. I think Detroit stays pretty good. And I agree with all the other teams. This is going to be nuts. I'm going to go with AFC Championship is going to be the Jets and Texans.
Wow. I like it.
If that were to happen, I would be if Houston
Nico
lost,
will be
I would
a very happy
yes,
man.
I don't know what I would do.
I don't think CJ Stroud regresses.
It'll be easy to root against Aaron Rodgers too.
It would,
yeah.
The
It
whole
would.
country will
Yeah.
be rooting for the Houston Texans.
I know it would.
I don't think CJ Stroud regresses. I think they did a lot of really good things on defense. I think the Texans, like, they got it, right? They're a year ahead of the Bears,
Mhm.
in my opinion, with their, like, progression. NFC, my heart tells me Bears, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll make the divisional round and kind of end it there. I'm going to go San Francisco. I think I'm going to go to repeat. San Francisco, Detroit.
Hmm.
I do think Detroit has a shot at making the Super Bowl. I'm going to go. Fuck. I think I'm going to go. I can't.
If it was
you will
Detroit,
see me-
Houston, I would be.
I
If
think
it's
that game-
Detroit, Houston, we're having a party, and I'm wearing just an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey.
I think that
nothing
game-
else.
I think that
just
Jets
a
game-
jersey.
I wear every Texan jersey,
Yeah.
piece of apparel I have upstairs. I'm going to change every 3 minutes.
I know my Jets Texans game is crazy. I do think Jets. It's going to be Jets, Detroit, and Aaron Rodgers is going to win a Super Bowl and retire.
That kills me.
I know.
So
Did you make your Super Bowl pick?
I
Who
did.
won the Super Bowl?
Green Bay, but
Yeah.
how great would it be if it was Jets and Green Bay, and then Aaron
Oh
Rodgers
my
wins and rides
gosh.
out?
That would be
You
nuts.
guys, you guys
Oh
would
my
hate it,
gosh.
but it would be the ultimate F.
I would like
riding
that.
out.
Yeah,
I would love
like
that
it
story.
Then I would like.
I
it.
would love that
So
story.
I'm going. I think the NFL is all about history. I think weird things happen, and for legitimate reasons. I don't know why. I already gave you my NFC pick. I'm going to skip a bunch of the AFC stuff, although I think Jacksonville and Houston come out of that division. I think that division is underrated, actually, other than we agree Tennessee sucks. I think
Thank you.
my AFC championship game, I agree with you. I think Houston, my mind says Houston is 1 year away from the AFC championship game. This year, I'm going rock chalk Jayhawk, and I see Kansas City Chiefs against the Cincinnati Bengals. And there are some people just have other people's numbers, and it's a wrap. And Joe Burrow will always be Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. And
I like
Joe
that.
Burrow is taking the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl, and we're getting a repeat of, I believe, 1989 49ers versus Cincinnati Bengals. And I think the 49ers defensive collection team that we all can look on paper and says, this is the best football team on paper. I think they finally
They
break
figure it
through
out.
because it's not Patrick Mahomes. And I think the 49ers win the Super Bowl. That's my
I like
pick this
that
year.
one.
I like that we all have different teams.
I like all different
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
Yeah,
all
completely.
different Super Bowls.
I do think Cincinnati bounces the Chiefs out of the playoffs, but I think
so you have maybe the Jets knocking off Cincinnati,
yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers
or Houston knocking off
again
Cincinnati.
if he's healthy, dude. Aaron Rodgers
team was
is
scary last
very
year.
like he's got that,
cerebral.
but he's got that mentality. He's got that like killer instinct, like Jordan, like Kobe. That's how he ticks. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback to ever play in the NFL.
That's dude. It's close. It's close.
Maybe
No.
not. No, talent
Oh,
wise,
man.
talent wise, and
It's close.
stats wise.
We can wrap this up, and then we can go into that one another
Dude,
episode.
I'll
I mean,
even
that's
say,
that's a full
I'll even
episode
say
in
this
itself.
right now. I've said this before. I think LeBron James is probably the most talented player to ever touch an NBA court,
Maybe,
but he's not the best player in history. So
I
let
see
me
your
rephrase
argument. I
that.
see your argument.
I would say that Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback to ever play in the NFL over Mahomes, for sure.
I could say, I
But-
agree with that.
But he is not like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not.
Have you
he's not
watched Tim
Jordan.
Tebow?
Maybe not enough.
And that's been
Yeah.
this episode of
Yeah.
You can't end better than that.
That's great.
We
ending.
will come back, I think, in a few months before the season starts and maybe reassess after preseason,
Yeah.
something like that.
Bears. The Bears.
Houston, Chicago, Super Bowl.
We
Final word.
and
Yeah.
we ride or die with Tim Tebow.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Thanks
That's
for joining
right.
us on the More
Okay.
Taco Encounter. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.